Welcome to Hall County Connection. I'm your host, Nikki Young. The start of a new school year is a busy time for families in Hall County. We run around to buy notebooks, pick out school clothes, and meet the new teacher. And then we get caught up in the daily routine of packing a lunch, going to school, doing homework. Sometimes it's good to take a step back and look at the amazing things that our kids are accomplishing at school. Our show is going to tell you what exciting things are going on at Hall County schools. Hall County opened a brand new high school building this year, but there aren't many new faces. Flowery Branch High School relocated to the new building on Spout Springs Road after outgrowing the old school. Teachers spent the summer moving equipment into the new building in time for the first day of school, and the results are remarkable. We're going to talk to the principal and students about their new school, and we'll take a tour. We'll also take a look at the World Language Academy, an elementary school that teaches in Spanish and English. The school is in its second year, located at the old Chestnut Mountain Elementary School. This school model is designed to make our children more competitive in the global economy by developing international communication skills. All that and more is coming up. First, we will visit the Vinci Academy, another example of innovation in Hall County schools. It's a program for gifted middle school students that allows more freedom to explore than the traditional curriculum. I spoke earlier with Superintendent Schofield, who will talk to us about the Vinci Academy and how it fulfills his vision for the school system. Well, here we are at the Museum of Inspired Learning in the Vinci Academy. This is one of the many things that is brand new for Hall County schools this year. Tell us about it.
Well, it's, you know, Nikki, the Vinci Academy is just, it's a piece of the puzzle, and what we've been saying for the last 15 years in public education is, you know, when you walk into a school, whether it's in Hall County, Georgia, or whether it's in Colorado Springs, Colorado, I always get a little uneasy because it looks a lot like the school that I attended. And it probably looks an awful lot like the school that my parents attended, and maybe even the school that my grandparents attended.
I hope not.
And while people might say, well, what's wrong with that? I guess the way I would answer that is I'd ask them the question, I'd answer that question with a question. I'd say, well, does the world look any differently than the world looked during our grandparents' time, during our parents' time, even during my time? And I think the obvious answer is, my goodness, how it has changed. And the rate of change has been exponential. As a matter of fact, the world changed again last night while we slept. And so one of the things that I'm so proud of is we have a team here in Hall County that realizes that the world is changing, that realizes that our children are not going to compete with the children from Gwinnett County and the children from Dawson County or even children from California, but that they're real competitors that they will compete with in the next 50 years. It's now a world stage, and it will be the Asian Tigers, it will be the Eastern Europeans. And so Vinci is just where we are today at the Vinci Academy is just a snapshot of just how different schools can be, just how relevant schools can be, just how possible it is to take children's passions and God-given abilities and put them in a learning environment where they're able just to take those abilities and passions and run with them. So we're really excited about the Vinci Academy.
So if you were at a football game and a parent says, well, what is the Vinci Academy? How would you explain it to them?
Well, our director of rigor, who's Sally Crisell, she's finally convinced me. She says each and every one of us has a giftedness, and I think I've finally discovered mine, and it's oversimplification. I'm really good at oversimplifying things. So my elevator speech or my talk at a football game, if somebody said, just what is Da Vinci, I'm affectionately beginning to call it my 21st century one-room school. It is truly an opportunity using 21st century tools to get all of the bureaucracy, all of the minutiae out of the way, and let inspired teachers and inspired children teach and learn together. The teachers are truly the lead learners here at the Vinci Academy, and it's a modern one-room schoolhouse. It's fascinating.
And it's not the only new idea that has come out of Hall County schools. I know the World Language Academy is a dual language immersion program for our viewers who aren't familiar with it, but that is a revolutionary concept in itself. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, and we can talk about World Language Academy, and I'd be glad to do that. The thing that I'm really the most proud of is the fact that what we've challenged all of our 3,500 employees and our 26,000 children and our families to do is to reinvent the face of education. I firmly believe that this age that we're now living in, this no child left behind, let's measure every child, let's test them every time they turn around, that we're going to look back 40 years from now and we're going to say, what in the world were we thinking? If we truly believe that what's going to make us globally competitive is taking our most fragile students and getting them up to a very minimal level of competency, we're going to be disappointed. What we've said all along is that it's got to be about rigorous activities. You know, if you look at your learning in the past and I look at mine, The most meaningful learning that ever occurred is when we were passionate about it, when we could internalize it. It was those things that we got home at the end of the day and we were tired, but we couldn't wait to get up tomorrow morning and do it again. And I see way too little of that in schools. One of the most exciting things about Da Vinci, the World Language Academy, our advanced construction children who are building houses for Habitat for Humanity, the culinary arts program where our culinary arts students are down at Lake Lanier Islands for half a day, is I look into the eyes of these students and they're excited about their learning again. I mean, that is the shtick. So we're proud of the fact that at the World Language Academy we've got 5-, 6-, and 7-year-olds that are learning Spanish and they're learning Mandarin Chinese. I'm proud of the fact that we sit in this Museum of Inspired Learning here at the Da Vinci Academy. But what I'm most proud of is the fact that we're proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that we can get our community engaged in learning again. We can get children excited about their learning, and that's when the meaningful and deep learning will occur. It's that engagement piece, and world language is an example of that. Da Vinci is just another.
I think that's what is inspiring to me about these new programs, is that it's not focused on the test scores. It's focused on the students being excited about learning and being in school, and that's what we've been missing.
Absolutely, and I'm often misunderstood. It's not that test scores are not important,
oh, sure.
But what we've said all along is that if you engage children at a higher level and get them interested and inspired in their learning, the test scores will take care of themselves. I mean, we've said that all along. You know, we've put billions of dollars over the last 40 years into trying to give children over and over again remediation and get our most fragile children to a very basic level. And I think the data is in, and that approach fails, and it has failed miserably. What we're beginning to see, and we're seeing it in Hall County, is that if you set the bar high, and if you start with the question, what is it that you're interested in? What are your passions? And let's figure out what your God-given gifts are. And then let's design a program that takes advantage of those two factors. Tremendous things happen. You know, I've been an opponent of No Child Left Behind because of the reasons that we've just talked about for years. But I don't think there's any doubt that the reason that 34 out of 34 of our schools made AYP this year, adequate yearly progress, is because we've raised that bar and we've said rigorous opportunities for all students. I'm just convinced more than ever that that's the way that we need to be going, and we need to see a national movement of that kind.
And how does all this factor in with the economic recession that we're in right now?
You know, one of our mantras for the last 6 months has been quit whining. It's tough for everybody. I mean, there's obviously not as much.
We need a billboard like that on the interstate.
there's not as much money as there was a while ago, and so we've been saying, you know what we're going to do? We're going to do more with less. We're going to find out ways that we can be more effective, teach children in more effective ways, and do it with fewer resources. Technology is going to play a huge role in that. What you're sitting in here today at the Da Vinci Academy, it's fascinating. You know, we took one of our traditional middle schools, and just for fun, we took all of the salaries in the building, and we added them up, and we divided it by the number of students in the building. And we came up with the fact that to run a traditional middle school, just the salaries in the building, the cost per student was around $6,900. Now come over here to Da Vinci with me, with 6 highly creative teachers and a paraprofessional and 120 students. We added up those salaries. We divided it by the 120, $3,700 per student. So here is an example of an educational program. It's not for everyone, but it's going to meet the needs of these students tremendously well, much better than a traditional school could. And it's going to cost about 60% the cost of a traditional middle school. We don't have cafeteria workers here. We don't have custodians. We tell children if they want to be part of Da Vinci, you know what, if you drop something, pick it up. You're going to have to take your turn sweeping the floor once a week. It's the idea of this is your school, you need to take some ownership in it.
Those are good life lessons,
too. Yeah, they're great life
Mm-hmm.
lessons. If you want to eat lunch, bring a sandwich. If if you can't afford a sandwich, then we'll make a sandwich for you, or we'll get one of our business partners to provide one. But it's the whole idea of, you know, 100 years ago when you looked at an American school, it was a teacher, it was 35 learners between the age of 5 and 15, and it wasn't perfect. But for a lot of children, it worked pretty darn well. And when we take that concept and we ratchet it up to 2009 and we throw in some 21st century technology and laptops for every child and community resources coming in, we're just convinced that this is a recipe for a pretty powerful and incredible new style of learning in the year 2009.
Well, I have to say I'm excited about Hall County Schools after talking to you.
Well, we're excited too. We have great people.
Well, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate your time.
It's our pleasure, and we look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you
very much.